with a little more digging, and I went and I talked to the next door neighbors, and I said, hey, I'm here to talk about, and I pointed at the spa, and they said, oh, you're here to talk about the brothel.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with senior columnist Tim Carney. And Tim, you have written a story that is lighting up the email chains of everyone in Northern Virginia about a brothel in your neighborhood. That almost sounds too unbelievable to be real, but tell us about that.
Yeah, so I live in Falls Church, Virginia. So it's a suburb, there's a metro line that runs through it. It's a place, a lot of people who work in DC live out there. And one of my friends, his wife, saw that there was a new spa in their neighborhood in Falls Church, right off of sort of a main commercial strip. And so she started looking into it, thinking maybe she'd, get a massage or, somebody who could do her nails or something like that. And the website showed her that they were not interested in female customers, that they only advertised to men, and they advertised with scantily clad, buxom Asian models. And so with a little more digging, and I went and I talked to the next door neighbors, and I said, hey, I'm here to talk about, and I pointed at the spa, and they said, oh, you're here to talk about the brothel. So everybody in the neighborhood knows that this is, and not like a massage parlor where also some extra add-ons that are sexual go on. It seems that what happens here is just women get paid to have sex. And that's happening in broad daylight in a residential neighborhood in Falls Church, Virginia.
How is that being allowed to happen? Why has this not been prosecuted yet?
Well, so the police have been asked that. So the neighbors I spoke to said they asked the police, and the police said, our hands are tied. So for me, that points to the county prosecutor. His name is Steve Disano. He is a Commonwealth's attorney. That's his title. And when he first won, defeating a Democrat in a primary a few years back, his primary challenge was primarily funded by George Soros.
Oh.
And Disano has said explicitly that if he disagrees with a state law, he is not going to enforce it. He was talking about abortion when he said that, but he was very open. He said, even if Virginia outlaws abortion, I won't enforce it. Well, Virginia's outlawed prostitution, and he's not enforcing it. He's not being open about it. But when the cops say our hands are tied, what that sounds like to me and all the neighbors is they're saying, if we tried to bring a felony charge against the people operating this brothel, it would never get prosecuted.
Is there a role for federal prosecutors to step in, or even the state attorney general, or some other entity that is interested in enforcing the law? Or does this Disano guy have sort of exclusive jurisdiction?
Well, so the question on the state is a good one. And so the attorney general, Miaris is his name, he's a Republican, he's running for re-election, and he understands that Disano, this prosecutor, is an ideologue who puts ideology above safety. And so he often has tried to step in. I don't know the details on that law. I do know there's definitely there's probably an immigration angle to this story.
Seems reasonable.
And so ICE has gotten tips. I've spoken to people in the neighborhood who said they went onto the ICE website and put in a tip, like, this is a brothel, it likely has illegal immigrants working in there. And so if Steve Disano doesn't act, or the state of Virginia doesn't act, it could be that the knock on the door comes from ICE agents, and that might be a lot less gentle action than, a county prosecutor giving these women misdemeanors.
Does it sort of speak to, the state of politics interfering with law enforcement, that in a nice neighborhood this can be allowed to go on because of such political considerations? I mean, that seems like a sort of broader situation.
Yes, and so this is a very democratic neighborhood. I mean, I live there, and I'm not talking politics with any of the sources here. They're probably Democrats who, liberal, pro-choice, do not want a brothel in their neighborhood and wish that the prosecutor would enforce the law. And so it really does show sort of a element of triumph of ideology over doing your actual job. And he has said that in his New York Times op-ed. He said, I took an oath of office to protect the people of Fairfax County from the criminals, but, and then his wording was something like, it turns out that I need to protect them from the law. So this prosecutor believes that his job is to not enforce laws he disagrees with. And so then the brothel has been hit with a couple of misdemeanor charges, but he has made it repeatedly clear that most misdemeanors he's not going to prosecute, nor his office. He's going to leave it up to the police to try to make the case. Now, of course, that's not the strong point of police. So I've asked them, will you, in this misdemeanor case coming up in August, will you go ahead and will the prosecutor's office show up? And they haven't answered that yet.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more from Tim and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.